Chapter 1 of the Famous Missions of California. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit Librivox.org. Recording by Larry Wilson. The Famous Missions of California by William Henry Hudson. Chapter 1. On the 1st of July, 1769, a day forever memorable in the annals of California, a small party of men, worn out by the fatigues and hardships of their long and perilous journey from San Fernandez de Viracata, came in sight of the beautiful Bay of San Diego. They formed the last division of a tripartite expedition which had for its object the political and spiritual conquest of the great northwest coast of the Pacific, and among their number were Gaspar de Portola, the colonial governor and military commander of the enterprise, and Father Junipero Serra, with whose name and achievements the early history of California is indissolubly bound up. This expedition was the outcome of a determination on the part of Spain to occupy and settle the upper of its California provinces, or Alta California, as it was then called, and thus effectively prevent the more than possible encroachments of the Russians and the English. Fully alive to the necessity of immediate and decisive action, Carlos III had sent José de Galvez out to New Spain, giving him at once large powers as Visitador General of the provinces, and special instructions to establish military posts at San Diego and Monterey. Galvez was a man of remarkable zeal, energy, and organizing ability, and after the manner of his age and church, he regarded his undertaking as equally important from the religious and from the political side. The twofold purpose of his expedition was, as he himself stated, quote, to establish the Catholic faith among a numerous heathen people, submerged in the obscure darkness of paganism, and to extend the dominion of the King our Lord, and protect this peninsula from the ambitious views of foreign nations. Unquote. From the first it was his intention that the cross and the flag of Spain should be carried side by side in the task of dominating and colonizing the new country. Having therefore gathered his forces together at Santa Ana, near La Paz, he sent thence to Loreto, inviting Junipero Serra, the recently appointed president of the California missions, to visit him in his camp. Loreto was 100 leagues distant, but this was no obstacle to the religious enthusiast whose lifelong dream it had been to bear the faith far and wide among the barbarian peoples of the Spanish world. He hastened to La Paz, and in the course of a long interview with Galvez, not only promised his hearty cooperation, but also gave great help in the arrangement of the preliminary details of the expedition. In the opportunity thus offered him for the missionary labor in hitherto unbroken fields, Father Junipero saw a special manifestation both of the will and of the favor of God. He threw himself into the work with characteristic ardor and determination, and Galvez quickly realized that his own efforts were now to be ably seconded by a man who, by reason of his devotion, courage, and personal magnetism, might well seem to have been providentially designated for the task which had been put into his hands. Miguel Joseph Serra, now known only by his adopted name of Junipero, which he took out of reverence for the chosen companion of St. Francis, was a native of the island of Majorca, where he was born of humble folk in 1713. According to the testimony of his intimate friend and biographer, Father Francesco Palou, his desires even during boyhood were turned towards the religious life. Before he was 17, he entered the Franciscan order, a regular member of which he became a year or so later. His favorite reading during his novitiate, Palou tells us, was in the lives of the saints, over which he would pore day after day with passionate and ever-growing enthusiasm. And from these devout studies sprang an intense ambition to imitate the holy and venerable men, who had given themselves up to the grand work of carrying the gospel among the Gentiles and savages. The missionary idea thus implanted became the dominant purpose of his life, and neither the astonishing success of his sermons nor the applause with which his lectures were received when he was made professor of theology sufficed to dampen his apostolic zeal. Whatever work was given him to do, he did with all his heart.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?